So welcome all of you for the class of problem of excess and deficient demand. This is again a new topic that we are going to start now with you all. Now, before that we have taken the chapters aggregate demand and aggregate supply, as well as we have taken the topic of short-run equilibrium output before. Now, this is in the continuation of those topics only. And in this we are going to see what are the problem of excess and deficient demand that arise, what are basically the causes, what are the consequences, and how can we control excess and deficient demand. So we are starting with the topic from excess demand. Now first of all we need to see what do you mean by excess demand. So excess demand refers to when aggregate demand is more than aggregate supply, or we can say aggregate demand at plant level is more than aggregate demand at full level. It means if there is an excess demand, the plant level of demand will be more than the aggregate demand at full employment level, because at this employment level supply cannot be increased further. It means it will become stable. There will be no change in the output, there will be no change in the employment. So, if we look over to the excess demand, again we say excess demand refers to the form of demand where aggregate demand is more than aggregate supply, or aggregate demand at plant level is more than aggregate demand at full employment level. It means, as we have already made the diagram that we have established, that is, if we say this is income, that is equal to AS, this is AD, if we say this is ADF, and parallel to this, if this is ADP, it means now we can say at this point there will be an excess demand of, say, this level, this excess level. So if we make the point E and F, and EF will be the gap, or we can say the excess demand level. Now, if we are closing this gap, we can also term that excess demand will lead to a gap that will be known as inflationary gap. It is very certain, students, that whenever the demand exceeds the supply, when people are urged of demanding or having more of the goods, and the supply with respect to demand is just stable and not sufficient to cope up, there will be a gap that will be known as inflationary gap. So inflationary gap is an outcome of excess demand, that is being excess of aggregate supply, or that is being excess of aggregate demand at full employment level. Now, we just need to see what are the causes of excess demand. If we have seen the excess demand, we just need to see what are the basically causes of excess demand. See, we have learned the components of excess demand, that was CI in closed economy. And if in open economy we talked about these. Fine. Now, if we talk about more, then we can have more things also in the form of TNS. These are basically the letters that represent the causes of excess demand. So what are these? Let's explain one by one. It means rise in consumption, expenditure, or we can say propensity to consume It will lead to a rise of demand that will make the demand in excess of what we need to have at full employment level. Then again we say rise in investment expenditure. Again, it will lead to a rise in excess demand because producers also require the use of capital goods in order to produce their own goods and services. Then, rise in government expenditure, since government tax both as a consumer as well as producer. So it means if there is a rise in government expenditure, definitely there will be increase in demand and increase in excess demand. Then rise in exports. Whatever the goods that are being manufactured in India, they can also be demanded abroad if we are talking in terms of open economy. These two we are dealing with, or these three we can deal with closed economy. Rest all we can deal with the open economy. Then fall in imports, since if we do not demand from abroad nations with respect to any capital goods or consumer goods, easily we can say we can reduce their demand and increase the demand for goods and services. Now we say with respect to tea, if there is fall in taxation, it means it will lead to rise in the production of goods and services, since the goods will become more cheaper when there is a fall in tax. Tax will reduce the selling price and selling price will lead to more demand by the consumers in the economy. Then we have rise in subsidies, again the same thing. Let the tax be fall or there is subsidy be rise, it will lead to a rise in demand, or we can say they are potentially the causes of excess demand. So as and when we have seen the causes of excess demand, they all will lead to a rise in demand at plant level. Fine, and that will be more than the aggregate demand at full employment level. Now, what we need to see more is or are consequences of excess demand. Now, if we talk about causes of excess demand, we need to see, first of all, there will be no change in output, since demand exceeds full employment level. It means we cannot employ more labor beyond this capacity, since we are already in a state of full employment level. So there will be no change in the output. If there is no change in the output, since we already told you that economy is operating at full employment level, it means there will be no change in employment level 2. Now, if we talk about the excess demand, it means it is sure that there will be unfulfilled demand. Now, if there is unfulfilled demand, what will happen? There will be loss of profits to firms due to not fulfilling such excess demand. Since people are demanding more, but we cannot supply more, since we are already operating on full employment level. So it means there will be a loss of profit. Now, it will lead to a rise in the general price level, that means it will give a rise in inflation. It means the supplier have no other measures than to increase the prices of the goods and services in order to cope up with the excess demand. So basically these are the causes and consequences of excess demand. Now we just need to see what are the control measures. How can we lead to control the excess demand that we need to focus on, and it is very important that we should focus on how we can lead to control, since if we won't be able to control it, the inflation will persist and it will create a great adverse effect on the economy. So, control measures of excess demand. It means how can we control excess demand? With the help of two measures. One, with the help of fiscal measures as adopted by or implemented by government, and second measure are monetary measures as adopted and implemented by central bank, as we say it as RBI. Fine. So if we need to control excess demand, first of all, the government has to reduce its expenditure. It means reduce government expenditure. Fine. Since government make a wide amount of expenditure, a bulk amount of expenditure, the most significant amount of expenditure made in an economy and infuses the demand level. Since I already told you, government act as a producer also and a consumer also. So it is up to the major concern for the government to reduce their expenditure in order to control excess demand. Fine. Second, we need to increase taxation. It means if it is already been noted that there is a excess demand, and to control excess demand, the government need to implement a tax on those commodities that are either in a luxury state or in a high price mode, so that people should be able to consume this. As and when they will consume less, the excess demand will automatically get controlled. Fine. So again, there is a measure that increased taxation is again a fiscal measure to be adopted by government. Then government can resort to deficit financing also, but deficit financing cannot be implemented here since it is concerned with the printing of more currency, right? We can just say that it can lead to reduce printing of currency. It means if it is not essential to print more currency, the government should make a stop on the printing of rupees 10 rupee coin, or 5 rupee coin, 2 rupee coin, or 1 rupee coin, so that there must be a very less amount of money supply, so that people will demand less and they will be controlling excess demand. Now, if we talk about the monetary measure, as we already did in banking chapter, we split monetary measure in two forms: quantitative and qualitative measures. It means now here we need to see that excess demand is just like excess money supply. Both lead to inflationary gap. So what we need to do, we just need to see if we need to reduce excess demand, we just need to increase bank rate, we just need to increase repo rate, we just need to increase reverse repo rate, Fine. You just need to increase legal reserve requirements as we say CRR and SLR. Why we are telling that we should increase them? Since as and when they will be increased, the commercial bank will be left with lesser amount of money in their hand, and therefore they won't be able to grant much borrowings or loan to the public, and consequently there will be less money supply, and when there will be less money supply, the public or the economy will not be able to demand more. We will be able to control excess demand, and we will be able to control excess demand. So this will be the measure. We need to increase all these aspects. Then we can say in open market operation as we have, we just need to sell the securities in open market operations. So these are basically the quantitative measures that need to be followed or implemented by central bank and should be ordered to every commercial bank, so that when these are being implemented, they will be able to control excess demand in a very smooth way, in a very good way. Then qualitative measures, if we talk about them, first of all, we are having margin requirements. So if we talk about margin requirements, we can say we need to increase margin requirement. If we increase the margin requirement, the borrower will not be able to take much small amount of loan with whom he needs to deposit higher amount of security as a to be pledged to the commercial bank. So higher the margin requirement, lower will be the demand for the borrowings. Ultimately, it will lead to control the excess demand. So to control excess demand, again we say margin requirements should be increased. And then we have, after the margin requirement, moral suasion. Moral suasion must be in a strict manner for controlling money supply. Or we can say we just need to reduce money supply. So moral suasion will be in such form that the banks must not be allowed to grant more loans to the public. Therefore, we can say the credit rationing must be strict in order to control money supply, in order to lower down or control excess demand. So these are basically the fiscal measure and monetary measure that we have seen. This is how the excess demand works. These are basically the causes, consequences, control measure that we have seen for excess demand.